You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. We'll take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
Is there anybody there? Just me. Hello, good morning. We've got a psychic on today. We're looking forward to it.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. www.alternativefutureradio.com.
Yay! Good grief. Did you like that, Basil?
I like that, and that's a special little yay for our friend on YouTube, and James Attack.
James Stasiak.
James Stasiak. We've seen you've been leaving us a little yay, so we just that yay is for you.
Yay!
Thanks, James
Stasiak.
And thanks for everybody who commented on the YouTube videos. And
you know what you don't get on bigger shows? You don't get individual shout-outs.
Oh, you don't get the personal...
You don't get that. Personal touch.
Personal touch like we do. Thank you for liking the Out There Hour Facebook page.
If you give us 20 quid, we'll come to your house and make tea.
It's 20 quid, we'll do anything.
Yeah.
We haven't got 20 quid between us today, have we?
Two halfpennies to rub together.
Not two halfpennies to rub together.
Well, now, today...
Somebody who has got two halfpennies to rub together, because she's a damn fine medium,
yes,
is our guest today, Allie
Cheslick.
Are
you struggling with the name?
I am, yes.
I keep thinking it's Chiswick. Every time I see that, I read Chiswick.
Cheslick, the beautiful and talented and lovely Allie.
AllieCheslick.com, which is AllieCheslick. Cheslick.com. You can find a link to her on AlternativeFutureRadio.com on this interview page. She has a little page there with her bio on and such like.
She's a professional spiritual medium, a healer, an intuitive, and a radio host herself.
She does host a show, yeah.
She's been a consultant to a national and international clientele and a sought-after guest on many radio programs.
Well, us, for one.
Including us. She's also known as a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Has been privileged to work with various families, aiding and contacting to help with cold case and current murder cases.
Yeah, she's also been a psychic to a number of stars from various TV series and things along those lines.
And I think I can vouch for this. She has been touted as one of the most genuine, sincere, and hauntingly accurate spiritual mediums of our time. And I think that's very, very true.
Yeah. You know, I must ask somebody one day, if she's a medium, is there a small and a large?
Oh, God. I didn't even get the joke earlier on. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Seriously? I don't know why I bother. I'm wasted on you, Basil.
It's a good one. It was funny. In its day.
In its day, back in the day.
It was a good one back in the day.
Yeah, you know what's coming?
Why don't we have an advert?
You should probably help support this station by buying the new Alternative Future Radio Android application. You can download all the latest programs or the archived shows, and it's just $1.99. PayPal will bill you in your usual currency if you don't use dollars. Find out more at AlternativeFutureRadio.com.
Okay, so hopefully now we are joined on the line from up New York State somewhere, Allie Cheslick, psychic outlaw extraordinaire. I added the extraordinaire part myself. Are you there, Allie?
Hi, boys. How are you? Yes, I'm here.
Not too bad. And we've got Basil here as well. Say hello, Basil.
Good morning, Allie. It's so lovely to speak to you.
You know, it's that voice, Basil. I've been waiting to talk to you for a month. Good morning.
I like your voice as well.
I'm going to turn the bass down on your mic.
No, turn it down a bit low. She likes it. Turn it down low.
Yeah, that's what this is what I should sound like. Come on, Basil.
Make me sound like Mickey Mouse.
That's okay. I've got this post-nasal drip thing going, so my voice is kind of sketchy.
We appreciate you coming on because we know you have a touch of laryngitis today, sore throat.
Yeah, but I couldn't pass up two guys from Ireland and the UK with those accents. It's like, come on, it's every American woman's dream
Nice.
to be interviewed.
Nice.
I'm telling you.
I like it.
Go
I
on.
must remember that. Are there any
Are you
nice?
going to use that as a line? Is that what you're getting
Are
at?
there any nice American dating sites I could go on?
Nice, maybe. I don't know.
I might get some actual
Listen,
results.
Use your
I don't
voice
think
rather than a
there's
picture.
I don't think there's any nice dating sites, period, anywhere in the world.
Maybe there's one where you can use a voice rather than a picture, maybe for blind people or something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, blind dating, completely blind.
Blind dating.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make $1 million with that idea.
Well, you know, it's funny because there's this thing. Some comedian said something, and it was really true. But you know, here in the States, when you drive up to the ATM machines at the bank to take your money out, why are the ATM numbers, you know, the buttons in Braille?
Because they can't see the screen.
Do you know drive and hit the ATM machine?
Yeah.
How many blind drivers?
Yeah. But they also can't see what's on the screen anyway.
Exactly. And so I could see it on the inside ATM machine inside of a bank, but on the drive-through.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, somebody was sniffing glue when they did that. So how are you guys this afternoon over there?
We're a bit tired. We've had a busy day today.
We've been busy little boys.
We've been working
early
hard.
Start.
Yeah,
Early start.
I've been
today.
up since 6.
Oh,
I had to drive to the studio. I had to do a couple of interviews today.
we're working hard today.
Yeah, we're hard at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you I mean you do podcasts, but how many days a week?
Oh, well, we're currently recording twice a week, but we're recording sometimes 3 a day.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're turning out 3 hours content in one day. It's not too bad.
Probably not as much as you, Ali. How many shows are you doing a week now?
No, I do 2 shows a week. I'm on Monday nights here in the States and Wednesday nights, and then I do various guest spots like your show, which I appreciate the invite, and you know, there's a bunch of other shows that I'm going to be doing June, July, August. So you know, between the radio and clients and family and you know, just my goof off time, you know, like there's never enough time in the day. You know, sometimes it's just. You turn around and you're like, wow, it's 3 p.m. Where'd the whole day go?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
There's not enough goof off time. That's what I find. There seems to be.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
No, there's not. But when there is goof off time, Allie is playing either like Words with Friends, bingo, or slot machines because I like gambling.
Whoa.
You heard it here first.
You know, so I play on Facebook a lot, and I like playing Words with Friends because it challenges people to actually come up with words that are longer than 2 letters, which some people's vocabulary doesn't go past.
Yeah, we've got a few of
So,
those.
when you're speaking about your clients, you're speaking about the other side of Ali, the medium. But I'm just wondering, when did this ability first manifest itself? Was it when you were a child, or when did you first discover you had this ability?
Well, you know, kind of growing up, we all, I mean, you know, male and female alike, we all kind of experience what our parents would like to refer to as our imaginary friends.
Yeah.
You know, most of us, our imaginary friends, okay, well, we believed our parents that they were imaginary, except when they really start talking back to you, and then they stick around for like your entire life. They're a little more than just imaginary, or you're really, you know, psychotic and you need therapy, a Thorazine drip in a pink pretty room. So for me, you know, it was kind of, you know, my first experience was with a Native American woman who kind of showed up, and I just loved, you know, the energy that, you know, I was getting from her, and I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, 5 years old. And, you know, I believed my mother that she wasn't real. So, you know, but I played with her and did my things with her. And then, you know, after a while, I started to notice that I could see her, and I was getting much older. And so I didn't quite understand, you know, what that was about. And then I could see spirits from a very young age. And again, not really sure what I was seeing, but then realizing, you know, that they had this transparency that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I tended to not really pay attention, because it's when you really pay attention that you do notice things. You know, people sort of live with proverbial blinders on like horses. You know, you take the blinders off and you look around, really look. You see more than what meets the eye, and there's the difference. That's the key, is believing that there is more. And so, I was, excuse me, I turned 20 years old, and I was about to give birth to my son. And I met a psychic medium from Canada, and I was living in Pennsylvania at the time because my dead ex-husband was working there. So, and she, I didn't even know what a psychic or a medium was. I mean, I saw Dionne Warwick and all those TV shows, and and all the older psychics that were on TV with the 900 numbers, call up and get your daily horoscope, and I was fascinated by it. I didn't even know I could do that. So I just knew a lot of stuff. I knew things about people.
That you shouldn't know.
I would open my mouth and I'd blurt stuff out, especially like during high school. Oh my God. So people thought I was a class clown, and I used to get in trouble a lot. But the truth of it is what I would blurb out was probably the truth of what I blurbed out. And so I really pissed off a lot of teachers.
Something that everybody else didn't know about the person, perhaps, a secret.
Yeah, and it wasn't intentional, like to hurt anybody, because that's not my thing. But more the funnier energy that I guess I would pull out, because I had a sense of humor. I mean, I was 5'9". I was a big chick, big boned, and I had to have a personality. And I played sports, and I was smart, and I was always a year ahead in high school. So I never really quite fit in anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just part of, I thought, my personality, who I was. And then, when I fast forwarded to I was 20 and I met the psychic from Canada, she had said, "Oh, can I come over and have coffee with you or something the next day?" And I said, "Sure. I mean, come on. The breakfast of champions, coffee and a pack of cigarettes." So she came over the next day and she started talking to me, and a lot of the stuff she started talking to me about kind of sort of made sense, but it still freaked me out. Here I am, 20 years old. I just gave birth to my son. He's like a week to 10 days old, and then she started telling me about what auras meant and stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, I really didn't get the whole aura energy until a couple of years after, when I realized that that's what I've seen around people my whole life. It's sort of this self-realization that occurs when someone brings your awareness, your attention specifically to a particular thing. It's just like if you've, had a birthmark on your body that you kind of never really paid attention. It's there. You don't really, oh my God, look at your birthmark. It's kind of big. You really should have the doctor look at it. And then it brings your awareness, your attention to that birthmark. And you're like, wait a minute, maybe there is something wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just, it was in that space. And so she did a little mini reading on my son, which was interesting because a lot of what she said for my son's come true, and he's going to be 26 this August. And I remembered it because I have a very, very close relationship with my son. And for me, she said, well, in 20 years from now, you're going to be doing this work that I'm doing, and you're going to be doing it even better, and you're going to change people's lives by doing it and just being yourself. And I looked at her and I thought, well, thank you. And then I really thought in my head that she was just a nutbag. And here I am 20-something years later doing exactly what she said I was going to do.
But
I mean, I was a bookkeeper and a waitress. Who knew?
That means you're either both psychics or both nutbags.
I don't know.
And I think the jury's still out on that. And what's kind of interesting, and I guess it's on some level validating for me, is my sister is a psychiatric nurse over 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And so my sister is kind of open-minded, but a little bit more the science nerd. And of course, she married my brother-in-law, who's a dope, but he's an engineer, so he's definitely in the science space. And in 1997, I did a reading for my sister. And literally 3 months later, everything I told her came true. And she called me up. She goes, I believe everything that you said. She's like, I believe that there's something more that I can understand. And I mean, it happened actually the way I said it with my sister. And she was, she freaked out. So, if I could get my sister, who is, open but still skeptical, in that space, then I knew I wasn't that much of a nutbag. You know what I mean? So.
See, I think the great thing is if when you're able to laugh at yourself, it says a lot about your personality. Because a lot of people we've spoken to don't have a sense of humor about the subjects that they're a
little bit strict.
And some of it can be funny at times. They can, they're a bit strict.
It can be. So there have been occasions.
It's a good sign you're not a nutbag when you can laugh at yourself. That's what I think.
You know what? You have to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh at other people.
Yeah.
I always said, if you can't beat them, join them. But at the same time, I'd like to beat some people. But at the same time, it's kind of like I take what I do very seriously when I do my private one-on-one sessions, right? But even in those sessions, and I've got testimonials coming out the yin-yang, which I appreciate because it just validates what I do, not just for me, but for them.
They're all on your site. You've got validations all over the place on your website here.
I have validations on Best Psychic Directory. And I have emails still that I haven't even put out yet. Yeah. I just save everything in a little folder, in my email thing. But the whole idea of and see, for me, I look at it this way. Excuse me. When I put out the validations, it's not so that I can, float my ego all over the planet. I mean, I'm cute, but I'm not that cute. It's not about my ego. For me, when I put it out there, I appreciate the accolades and I can take some of the recognition. But I have a belief and a faith, and I believe in God. Some people say universal energy, whatever spirit they want to call it. Knock yourself out. Whatever makes you feel good about yourself. For me, I refer to him as a God. And so I have this established relationship, and I just believe that, I can say thank you and appreciate the accolades, but I need to give my thanks and praise to God, because in my heart, in my mind, I feel like I can't do this if I didn't have that connection. So for me, I like to call them, love testimonials, because it's really about love. The work that I do, for me, I don't know what anybody else thinks, but for me, it's about love. Because it's a reminder that we are unconditionally loved, no matter who you are, whether you're, the richest person on the planet or you're a homeless person. It doesn't matter. Everybody's unconditionally loved. And I feel like part of my work is to remind people of that. And so when I get them, they're great, and I've got pages of them, but it's more to show people that even the skeptics, that, you can tell me you don't believe, and I can appreciate skeptics and cynics and believers alike, but you have to be able to look at it and go, there's something to it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think so. Everybody has some psychic ability to some extent, haven't they? Everybody
has it, period. There's no extent. Everybody has it. The difference is if you choose, because everything that we do is a choice. So if you choose to work in that space where you choose to draw upon that energy that's within yourself, that's great. 9 out of 10 times, if you remember back to when you were a kid, had to sit down, take a test at school, and you knew letter A was the answer, but you second-guessed yourself and you went with letter B.
Exactly.
Only to find out when you got the test back, letter A was correct.
Right, yep. Often, yeah, absolutely.
I don't care who you are, what religion, what language, everybody's done that. And that's a clear sign that we all just have a natural ability to be intuitive or psychic.
Yeah.
Now, whether you're in the space to step out in a public forum on a level of radio, TV, lectures, appearances, to be able to step out into that space and emotionally connect to someone and be able to do that work, that's a whole nother story.
I'm just wondering, Allie, when you were a child and you were seeing these spirits and they were talking to you, and you described it as being somewhat transparent, why weren't you? Were you not afraid of them, or did you have any fear, or?
No, it was very comfortable. Oddly enough, like when my grandmother's sister, her name was Aunt Gertie. When she passed away, I knew she died before my family did. She walked in front of me transparent, but I could see her, and she said goodbye, and I could see her her energy sort of enveloped my nanny. I called my nanny.
Yeah.
And then she just kept walking and like disappeared out of my sight. And I said to my nanny, I said, Aunt Gertie passed away. And she said, don't talk like that. And I said, no, I just saw her spirit. She passed away. And of course, sure enough, my grandmother freaked out and called, her sisters, only to find out that Aunt Gertie did pass away. And the same thing happened with my father's only sister, who actually is the one who called me Allie. Her name was Helen. And she passed away during the night around 3, 4 in the morning. Not only did, I feel her energy, but my dead ex-husband woke me up out of a sleep and said, your aunt just came to me in my dream. And she passed away. And he never did that before. That was the first time he did that and the last time he did that.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's happened to me and my mother. We've seen people. We dreamt about people before they passed.
Okay, so but that's the innate ability that everybody has. It's just a matter of what you choose to do with it and the perception. There's a cliche terminology that possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
And I said it should say perception is 9/10 of the law, because really it is, because you and I could look at the same thing and perceive it completely differently.
Right.
And that's the key to understanding this whole out there hour of energy. Alternative frequencies.
You threw me off there now.
She stole the titular line from you, Bethel.
I don't know what to say.
I'm good like that.
I did know what I wanted to ask. You mentioned your sadly, your dead ex-husband a number of times.
No, that's not sad. That's ecstatic.
Oh my God! But
you'll have to explain that.
I was just wondering, did you have a premonition of him? When you were married to him, of him actually dying, or was there any warnings in your own mind that there was anything? Because you were married to him, you were very close to him. Did you know it was going to happen?
Okay, so on some level, I did, and on another level, I didn't. He was, God bless his soul, and he knows I rag on him all the time.
Yeah.
We had a very difficult relationship. He was my abuser. He was a physical abuser.
Yeah.
He was mental, emotional. He was an alcoholic. A pothead, and the occasional, sniff a line or two.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do any of those things.
No.
Like I said to you guys before we got on the air, I have 2 drinks and I'm, Big Al, the kid's pal. Alcohol and me, I can end up mooning people in the parking lot with 3 drinks in me. Yeah, so I tend not to drink. I just don't hold the liquor well.
Oh.
And when you're married to someone or live with someone who's got addictions like that, it kind of turns you off to a lot of things, even if it's just in a social setting. And I kind of, in my heart, thought that those habits would kill him.
Yeah.
On some level. I didn't know how, but, I did. And then, like I said, technically I was diagnosed as a battered wife back in the late 90s because of him. And I've lived a very, very difficult existence. I mean, when people hear my story, and of course everybody wants me to write a book, people are like, I don't know how you're still here. And I said, well, it's my belief in my faith. It's the belief that my children need me. And so, and it's the belief that somewhere, somehow, somebody really loves me for who I am. And so I need to be here.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple of times I thought, I don't need to be here. And with him, it was kind of par for the course. The way he died, I would not have wished on my worst enemy. I don't really wish things on people. I just, hope that what goes around comes around, and it surely does for people. Karma, I guess, dharma. But he was hit and killed by a car.
Okay.
And the night, however, I will tell you, the night that I was contacted by the police, they came banging on my door at 1:00 in the morning. Earlier in the evening, I had gone to sleep because my children were much younger then. And so I had to get up really early for them for school. And I had a terrible dream about blood and glass. And I woke up quite disturbed. And I couldn't put my finger on it. But I knew somewhere in my soul, I knew it had to do with Paul. And sure enough, I come out of the bathroom. I was going to go back to bed, and the police detectives were knocking on my door looking for me to give me the news. So.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, I believe also by design on some level, because my current husband, I met him 13 months to the day that my first husband passed away. And we were separated for years. But I do believe that, God put my husband now into my life 13 months prior, so that my children, who, like I said, were very young at the time, could get to know my husband and establish a relationship with him, so that when it was time for their father to pass on, they weren't left without any sort of male figure in their life that they could lean on.
Yeah.
And that's really been my belief about this whole relationship and the way that I met my husband, because the three of us were talking a little bit prior to getting on, and we laughed about dating sites, but that's actually how I met.
Really?
My husband now. It was a telephone dating system.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
And I did that because I was a single mother. I really didn't have a car at the time, and I didn't have a way to really
You couldn't get out.
Yeah. And I wasn't a chick that went to the bar and drank a lot and said, "Hey, take me home."
Exactly.
I wasn't that kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it was safe for me to do that because I could control, that end of the communication. And I just was, his voice is really what drew me to him. We started talking, and I talked to him for 3 months on the phone before I let him come pick me up and take me out for a date. And then we've been together ever since. And I gave him a reading like 3 weeks into my relationship with him. And to date, and he will tell anybody, everything I said to him has come true. Now, of course, the woman that I saw him married to, I didn't recognize as myself. Because, I only knew the guy 3 weeks, so who knew that I was going to marry him?
Right.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But I did see him with a dark-haired woman. Who knew it was me? Because she was skinny in my vision. I ain't skinny. And I'm a little fluffy, honey. And so, and everything has come true with the exception of one particular prediction in that session, which I'm still waiting for my husband to make that come true so that I could be 100% with him. But yeah, I predicted he'd be in medicine and everything else, and that at the end of his life, meaning the later stages in life, his golden years, he'd be a writer and as popular as Stephen King.
I could still happen. We meet many authors here, that start later in life. I'm wondering, when you say you do a reading, are you doing a reading with the tarot cards, or how do you do a reading?
When I first started, that's how I learned to do readings, I guess. But then after I was using them for a while, I realized I don't need these.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I do? I read energy, I guess.
Oh, I see.
I look at people's pictures and I can pull out a lot of information. When they say the eyes are the window to the soul, they truly are.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they truly are. I see so much in people's eyes.
Allie, this is so funny. We were talking about this earlier on, myself and Mark and another friend. We were just saying, if you put all these pictures of 100 people out on a table, should I mention have I put my foot in it?
Go on, do it.
And you looked at maybe Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Perhaps the current Pope.
Yeah. Donald Rumsfeld. Henry Kissinger.
And
surely you could pick these people out.
Looking at their faces, I mean, they're not the most attractive or happy-looking people, are they?
You can tell a lot.
You can tell a lot from a face.
Well, yes, but you also have to realize too, like the aura field, which is the energy of the body, and excuse me. For me, I see that in the pictures as well.
Yeah.
And so, I have plenty of famous clients and not so famous clients who sent me photographs, and when I've done the readings, they're like, holy crap, and I'm like, yeah. I'll be honest, the new Pope, not a fan.
Me neither, and I'm a Catholic,
Not
Ellie.
a fan.
I'm a Catholic.
He's like Darth Vader on crack.
He's like the Emperor.
we refer to him as the Emperor
we call
from
him
Star
the
Wars.
Yeah, he really is, and I'll tell you this. I'm 46 years old, so I've grown up and I'm technically Christian, but but then I have the Jew side of the family that keep trying to pull me and convert me.
Whoa.
And that would be the husky that we talked about earlier.
I thought you were growling at us then.
That was a bit
I
scary.
thought you'd been possessed or something.
No, not possessed. My husky often likes to jump in on my shows. It's crazy.
I thought you were going to channel a dog or something.
He's been sick for a few days, so I had to spend the whole day at the vet. Anyway.
Now, this is interesting. We were talking about the Pope and his appearance, Sally, so let's see. What do you think?
Yeah, so I grew up with Pope John Paul.
Same here, yeah.
And the first time I saw him, I knew there was something very different. I get the chills in my head just now as we're talking, so that's a good sign. I knew that he was very different and that he was extremely important on so many levels, even far more so than than people understood. He was the one who the Lady of Fatima appeared to the three children, and and then they shared that information with the Pope. I believe it's part of the reason that he was here for so long, because he really had a very lengthy papal.
A very long life, yeah.
Yeah. And I believe it's also the reason they had a lot of difficulty in choosing the next pope, because it took them a lot longer than usual.
That's right.
People were waiting for that smoke cloud to come out, and we were like, hello. I just, this particular pope, for me, something I always like to say, something's just not kosher with that dude.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy a used car off him, put it that way.
Well, no, listen, and the fact that he was connected on some level to
Nazis,
to what happened, in Germany with Hitler and all that, the Nazis.
He was a Hitler youth.
Yeah, that just doesn't, for most people,
it doesn't
they look
wash.
at that.
It's not a great, it's not a great thing to have on your resume, is it? As a pope, former Nazi youth.
It's odd.
It wouldn't be the first thing you'd think of.
It's odd.
Boy Scout, maybe, but Nazi youth.
Well, some would say there were Boy Scouts.
Yes.
Well,
Baden-Powell did invent the concentration camp.
That, unfortunately, have turned into pedophiles.
Don't get us started on that.
Don't start him on pedophiles and the church, Ali. We'll never get out of here.
Well, here's the thing. Even on that, it's kind of sad. Here's, somebody posted a photo on Facebook the other day, and I reposted it, and I said maybe the church should take some of their own advice. I don't remember, verse and chapter. I'm not that up on the Bible, but it's about basically selling everything that you have and giving all your money away to other people's, whatever, so that you're poor. And I'm thinking, how come the Vatican doesn't even sell 1/10 of the gold that they have there, so they could actually help poor people, and they could actually keep churches open in rural areas around the world that really need a place of worship. Or need a place for people to feel like they can go. No, you would rather close down, move the priests and the deacons and whatever you call them, and the cardinals and people everywhere else, so that you could still, drink your morning coffee out of a gold chalice.
You see, it's the funny thing is now, I've spoken to some very deeply religious people, Catholics, and they're great supporters of the church. I support the church still, but they've been to the Vatican, and they said they get a bad feeling in the Vatican. These are, hardcore Christians, if you like.
I believe that there's...
It's most odd.
I believe there's a lot of secrets contained within the walls of the Vatican. So you ever hear that expression, if the walls could speak?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of underhanded things that have gone on. I think there's a lot of things that have been hushed up. I think that there's a lot of truth to some of the movies that have been put out about various, I don't know if you want to call them secret societies or various things connected to the church.
The Illuminati and that kind of thing. Yeah.
In my
Opus
opinion,
Dei and all those.
Opus Dei, yeah.
The energy of any church, whether it's, Protestant, Christian, born again, I don't know. Well, the Jehovah's, they need therapy. Yeah, I mean, come on. They knock on your door on Sunday morning. They want to convert you to be.
Do you know, it is nuts, Allie, because it's not something. Thank God we don't have to go around doing it, knocking on doors.
Well, I mean,
you know.
but look at it. Let's be realistic here. You want to convert people to become a Jehovah. Hey, that's great. You know, if that's how you feel, God bless you. But the simple fact that they believe that only 144,000 will be taken up, I'm sorry, there's like 1.2 million Jehovah's. What happens to the rest of them?
Yeah.
And they're trying to convert other people, so it seems to be almost like a waste of time.
It's stacked against you.
That's my point. You know, where's the salvation in that? You got to be lucky. It's like a lottery. Do I win? Nope. So I mean, you know, I've experienced I've experienced the Jehovah's. I've experienced born again and Christian and Catholic and Jew and, you know, and everything else. You know, I went to each of these places and I've spent some time just in the space of the energy. And then I chose to go with what felt more comfortable and more in alignment with my heart.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any one religion right or wrong, because I think if you take the best of all the religions and put them all together in a big book, that's probably closer to the truth.
That's pretty much what I've done. And I'm still looking. I mean, it's a journey. You know, I haven't come to any conclusions. I'm still sort of trying to find the answers or my faith. I mean, you know, it's a journey of every day, isn't it, Mark?
It is for you.
It is for you.
Well, you know, I mean, blind faith, it's the belief that there's something greater than what we understand. And, you know, I mean, honestly, let's look at it. I don't know how I feel about UFOs in particular. There's two trains of thought with that.
Allie, I have a question here. How do you feel about UFOs?
Good question, Basil.
I had written that down this morning. You've just...
Yeah.
Seriously, those words. How do you feel about UFOs? In case I ran out of steam.
Is that one of your emergency questions?
It was an emergency question, and she's just... What made you say that?
I don't know. I'm psychic.
Oh, you'll say anything.
That's so odd.
I don't know. That's bizarre. Oh my God, let's have a cocktail.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm having my half coffee, please. No, so there's two trains of thought. Number one is, well, are we that arrogant of a society to believe that we're the only form of human anything that's, you know, existing? Come on, seriously. I mean, the universe is so vast. Who the heck knows, really? I mean, for all we know, it could be, you know, like traffic up there. You know, I mean, we don't know, and that's the simple fact is we don't know. There is nothing in this world, period. I don't care what anybody says, that has any form of absolute. Okay, so even what I do, there's no absolute to it. The only absolute is the validation you get from a client or someone who you do a session for. The only absolute for UFOs are people who have truly experienced it.
Yeah.
The only absolute for a near-death experience is the person that experienced it, because it becomes their truth, and so it becomes an absolute for them. Do you follow what I mean?
I do.
Do I believe, you know, there are people that believe the UFOs are, you know, various governments, you know, with drones and different things. Okay, it's possible. The governments, you know, they're sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on. You know, if somebody asked me would I fight for my government or the people, I went, the people. You know, not that I don't love the United States, but do I like the people that are running it? No.
Funny enough,
me.
Ali, another question I was going to ask you.
You're having a laugh.
She's having a laugh, aren't we? I was going to ask you what you thought about the TSA pat-downs and the... you know, this thing of the security since 9/11. I mean, how do you, as an American citizen, how do you feel about that? Like children and...
Your emergency questions really were out there today, weren't they?
They were.
How do I feel about it? I think it's nonsense. I think it's useless. I think there's no point. I think it's a ruse. Okay, for other things. It's about control. It's
do you know what?
Quite simple. It's about control. For the fact that you'll pat down a 5-year-old kid. And make them go through a machine where you can see them naked. You either need freaking therapy.
Jesus Christ.
You know, I mean, and there's a family here in Florida that it's been in the news. And I'll be honest with you, probably about 10 years ago, I stopped watching the news. I don't read newspapers anymore, because it's again for me it's just very controlled,
too distressing and controlled, and
it's always negative. You never see anything.
It's mind
positive.
control through trauma.
Yeah, they're like trolls, man. But there's a family in Florida that allowed the government to put chips in their body. Hey,
idiots!
I remember that.
You are not coming anywhere near me with a chip unless it's a poker chip. That's I think that people are okay. It's like even any church. It's like any religion. It's like any government. They're running on the energy of fear. Okay, most people conform when fear is presented to them.
It's a system of control. It's a way of gaining control. But the thing is, we're over here we're in Europe, and we're looking at America, we're looking at the TSA, we're looking at the pat-downs, we're looking at the dogs, we're looking at the guns, we're looking at the masks. It doesn't look good. To us from the outside.
It looks increasingly like stormtroopers in Star Wars.
or stormtroopers from another, historical era.
Yeah, era being the correct pronunciation.
It looks bad from the outside, Ali, honestly.
And it looks bad from the inside.
I'd say so, yeah.
It's kind of like, it's interesting because when you do watch the news here, you look at CNN or Fox News or your local stations or, HLN, whatever.
Disney News, I hear them.
You're going to see what they want you to see. Yeah. The interesting thing is there's a lot of stuff that goes on that you don't see, right? So what do? I turn on the BBC channel that we get here.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there's all the news that you don't see on the stations here in the States. It's like, okay.
That's a bit weird.
And the contrary is true here.
It's about control. They want to control exactly what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Because there's a greater force or a greater energy. Some people will call it a dark energy. Some people would call it, Satan. Some people would call it, I don't know. There's all kinds of names. Personally, for me, I do believe in a heaven and hell energy, but I just choose to call, Satan Mr. Red Hot Happy Pants. And I think he's. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's interesting. You've got the religious background, so I'm just wondering, have you had any experience of bad spirits or even demons? Have you had any experience in that way?
Not with demons. If I did, I'd be calling a priest from the Vatican.
Me too. Same here. I don't want to
911.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then they're your friend.
Oh yeah.
Well, I do believe that energy exists.
Yeah.
That's just my personal belief. I've had people call me up and ask me if I could exorcise the demons. I gotta be honest. I giggle.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of me that goes, really? Okay. So I giggle, and then I said, I tell them, go to your local Catholic church.
Yeah.
And they're like, but your mom's Jewish. So what's your point? Go to the church. Because I do believe that, that the church does specialize in, exorcisms on that level. I do believe that. Do I believe that everybody in the middle of America, as some of these TV shows would portray, all these quirky paranormal shows are possessed? No. No.
What's more likely?
And you need to get a priest that's actually a real priest, not some guy dressed up in a collar trying to pretend to exorcise the demon out of a 7-year-old kid. You look more deluded than anything else.
Are you telling me that Father Baloney's not real?
No, man. I wouldn't give you 2 nickels for Father Baloney or his mustard. Let's face it. Come on. Any person with any semblance of intelligence knows that, first of all, to possess a soul takes years.
Okay.
It doesn't happen overnight. Read Hostage to the Devil. There's all kinds of books out there on it.
Okay.
You've got guys running around here in the States and, of course, now over in the UK who are screaming demons and they're demonologists, great. Okay. But when, I don't know if I could say this, but when the shit hits the fan,
you can say it.
I'm calling a Vatican priest who's been experienced with it, because I wouldn't trust that to anybody. That's just me.
Well, there's a film due out, actually. Did you look that up?
They weigh up the options very, very, very much before they do.
There is a documentary coming out.
They dismiss mental illness or schizophrenia before they do an exorcism. I do know that
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah.
No,
and you know what? I agree with that.
Yeah.
You have to, because there are too many people,
who are schizophrenic or,
Well, if you believe everything is energy, which we understand that everything is energy on so many levels. I mean, science has proven energy. It's proven a lot of things. In terms of even the metaphysical field. Even Stephen Hawking, wrote a book to tell you all about why we're here, what life is about. But he still cannot define scientifically or otherwise what consciousness is. And so there's that belief that everything is energy. And even in that, you can't sit there and say that something is absolutely demonic, because people can put the energy out there on a negative note from themselves. Some guy did a TV show here and said that he was possessed or he felt like he was being stalked by a ghost. He went through the whole mental rigmarole. They checked him out. Turns out he was battling with a bout of depression. When you're in that mental state, and that's not necessarily a mental illness, but when you're in that state, everything is magnified, right? So like when you're happy, do you ever notice that the energy around you is different? The people around you that you attract to you is different?
People react to you differently when you're in a happy mood or when you're in a very bad mood. There's people react quite differently, I do notice.
Yes, because it's the energy shift.
You're giving off.
Yes, absolutely. And so if you don't think that you could put out negative energy enough to where you feel like something is attacking you, I'm sorry, you need to think again. We only use 10% of our brain. Could you imagine if we used the whole 100%? We would actually understand everything. And I think that's also by, spiritual design that we don't.
But Allie, demons aside, though, have you had any experience with a negative, spirit or an angry spirit or
yes.
That must be distressing, is it?
Well, the fact that it almost threw me down the stairs, yeah.
Oh my God.
And there was 30 people there that witnessed it. 3 men actually grabbed my arms out when they saw that I was being pushed backward down a flight of stairs. Yeah. And my husband was standing there and he couldn't get to me fast enough. And if those 3 guys hadn't pulled me, I would have went tumbling backwards. As I walked up the stairs, they were doing a cleansing on the 3rd floor of this hotel. And I knew that there were energies already in the hotel that were not so kosher. And there were some that felt to me that they were trapped. And so that was a very interesting experience for me. I wasn't necessarily frightened by it, but I did become very emotional over it, which was interesting because I don't usually get that kind of level of emotion. It was a very interesting experience the whole weekend, but yeah, I've been in that space. Personally, when I put my energy out there, I put my prayers out there, I put my stuff out, I choose to ask not to really come in any kind of contact with that kind of energy. Yeah. If I do, though, I will tell you that for me, I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in my faith enough where I put the armor of God on. I call in Archangel Michael, and I dare you to screw with me, because then I get pissed off, and the Aries ram comes out at me, and then we have a good time. Yeah. I just, I do believe that I do believe people get attacked. I do believe that there are certain things that happen, but to the degree that, unfortunately, a lot of these paranormal shows, both on the UK side and on the American side, would have you believe is really a lie.
Well, they rarely use any religious relics like holy water or have a Bible on hand or anything when they're messing with these kind of things, which is inadvisable as far as I'm concerned.
If you don't know what you're doing, I believe you can seriously get injured.
I think so.
Like I said, I had a woman call me and ask me if I could come to her apartment in New York City, that she felt like she was really possessed, and she was explaining to me the things that are going on in her apartment.
Okay.
Now, whether or not I believed her was of no consequence. The fact that what she was explaining to me would probably scare a priest.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I told her, I said, I advised her to call the local parish and to ask them to have someone call her from the church or the parish, because I think there was something. She goes, well, I called like 3 other psychics and I called, 2 other so-called demonologists, and they refused to talk to me. And I said, well, here's my opinion. Call the church and explain your position to the church, and see what happens. And I said to her, and then I asked her, I said, are you on any kind of antidepressants?
Yeah.
And she said no. And I said, okay. I said, well, are you depressed? And she said, no, but this is really making me crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's making me depressed. It puts me into a dark space. And I said, well, besides calling the church, you probably should go see a psychologist just to make sure everything's honky-dory with you. Because if somebody normal, or whatever constitutes normal these days, has that kind of an experience, odds are there's something there.
So what would you think about people using Ouija boards then and things like that? Kids especially. I mean, they're available in toy shops there in America, we were told recently. You wouldn't get one.
My God, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, I think.
You could go to any toy store here in the United States and buy a Ouija board for anybody.
But do you think that is that advisable? Just do you think?
How many must they sell? If they stock them in all those toy stores, they must sell loads of them.
Well, do people buy them?
They're not stocking them for no reason.
Wow.
Yeah, people buy them, and when I was a kid, I remember seeing them in the stores. And when I was probably about 12 or 13 years old, 2 of my best friends were twins, and they lived across the street from me. And they said, "Oh, my mom just got us a Ouija board." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I ran across the street, and they were like, "Come on, let's play with it." And I said, "Okay, whatever. I'll give it a whirl." I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And so I put my finger on the planchette. They put their fingers on, and she goes, "Well, let's test it out. Let's see if it works." So they didn't know how old my mom was. I knew, and so I said, "Okay, whatever spirits are here, tell me how old my mother is." Told me exactly how old my mother was.
Oh, great.
I freaked out.
Yeah.
I was like, and of course the expletives that came out of my mouth at 13, you can imagine.
Yeah.
And I was like, so there was another girl there, Leah. And I told Leah, I said, okay, I'm taking my hand off. You put your finger there. I'm going to ask another question because I wanted to make sure that I didn't do it. Like I didn't push it to the numbers because, people do that. Yeah. So I asked another question about my mother and father, and the stupid thing answered. I was done. I told the girls, I said, that I love you girls, I'm out of here. And they freaked out. They threw the board outside in the pool. I never touched another Ouija board, and I think it's a very dangerous tool. I think it's again, I believe that there's a reason they're out there.
Yeah.
And when I met my husband, he told me about his neighbor Rosie, and Rosie and her mom were using the Ouija board one night for fun. And the Ouija board told Rosie and her mom that her mother would die in 2 years.
Yep.
They took the board, they ran outside, they threw gasoline on it, and they burnt it in the middle of the street. 2 years later, Rosie's mom died.
Yeah, that's the typical story of the Ouija board. I've never heard a good story about people experimenting with them. I've never heard of any good.
No, and you've got paranormal investigators that use Ouija boards when they go to these sites.
Yeah, they're nuts.
And then they do all that taunting of spirit. You're just asking for trouble.
It's madness. It really is. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing there at all.
I don't recommend a Ouija board. Personally, I think it should have been taken off the market a long time ago. Because, again, everything is energy, including that board. And if you don't know what kind of an energy or a portal or an opening that you're creating, good luck, because you can cause yourself major big problems. That's my belief.
It's like being in the middle of New York and opening your front door and saying, "Hey, everybody, whoever would like to come in, come in."
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, only on the spiritual level, And I'm assuming you wouldn't do that being a New Yorker, Allie. Unless it's
I would invite people in. I'd have to check. I'd have to check their energy at the door, but
I see. So you're able to do that. And do you see an energy? Do you see a color around people, or do you see something, or do you feel it? This energy.
Both.
Yeah.
So there are times where, like I said, I can look at a photograph or see a person, and in person,
Yeah.
and I can see a color, which correlates to what we call their chakras,
Okay.
and their aura,
Okay.
or it's the energy their body's giving off, and then and then it's sort of reading the energy of that, combined with whatever spirit is coming through, whether it's their guides or their loved ones, and the information that just kind of filters through, and then I just go for it. I don't filter it. It's not my place to. I just tell them what I see, tell them like it is, and that's what gets me in trouble.
Does it come immediately when you look at the picture?
Sometimes I sit and I meditate on it, on the energy, and then I ask what really is important for me to share with that person.
I'm going to
or
ask.
share about the photo.
I'm going to ask a question now. You can probably guess what it's going to be. I think you've seen my photograph, have you? So far on the show here and on Facebook.
Have I seen you? Wait, I'm going to go to your page and stare at you now.
Go to my page and look at me and tell me what you can tell me.
Yeah, there's a picture of you on your Facebook page, isn't
There's
there?
a picture of me smirking. I'm the dark-haired gentleman.
Well, I mean, you are really cute. I mean, so smart. Except that free Robert Greene. He's not so cute. But I'm kidding. Oh my God, that is so not you with a pipe in your mouth.
That's me as a baby, Allie, smoking. I got smoking very early.
That is not you.
No, that's not.
I have no idea what you're on about.
She's looking at my
That is
Facebook
not
picture.
you.
Yeah.
Can you find my Facebook picture with the?
Hold on, I'm looking. Let me go to your photos, because the one I looked at was. And what's with you with all the
There it is. Yeah, Mark has got it up now. He's got the.
What's this you've got in here, Basil?
That's the Facebook watching Facebook.
Oh.
That's somebody.
I see.
Have you?
Yes, he's got his sort of orangey, smug-looking picture there.
I look smug. I have a beard.
I kind of like your Lent picture.
My what?
Your what picture?
Your Lent picture. Basically, it's a picture of Rick Astley.
I don't see this. What am I looking at?
She's looking at my pictures.
Oh, you've got one. Oh, yeah. Oh, in here.
But on the
He's got a picture of Rick Astley in there. I'm kind of a Rick Astley fan. I'm sorry.
Rick Astley.
Oh,
Never going to give you up for Lent.
Never gonna let you go. Yeah. It's like the devil. I'm gonna hold you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the horror of Rick Astley.
The night terrors.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Okay, so tell me, your pictures are out of
yeah,
out of focus. Yes.
they're all
How
over the
come?
place. Oh, I don't know. Probably because I took them
He
myself.
likes the soft focus look.
Oh, that's it. A profile picture. Mark has got it up there. Yeah. Can you tell anything from that?
Who's this guy?
Yes.
Robert Greene. Who's he?
Oh, there's something else. What can you tell, Ali? I hope it's good now. It's not going to be bad.
Well, but that's the okay. Wait, let me go back and clarify something. You get good information, and you get sometimes not so happy information. The information comes through. I choose to not tend to give any bad news per se, because it's not my place to, number one, and number two, free will always take precedence. I can tell you what I see and feel and predict even, but that doesn't necessarily make it so. Like I told you earlier, the only absolute is the validation from the client to me or the person doing the session, and the only other absolute is the choices that you make as an individual with free will. So, even if someone sees 2 or 3 paths ahead of you, that doesn't necessarily mean that, one is more right than the other. Maybe all 3 are correct.
Yeah.
And you may choose to, walk down path A for a bit, then jump over to B, jump over to C. And at that point, you're like, okay, which one do I really want to be on? And you could come to someone like myself for a little more guidance of, which path really feels more in alignment with your energy. But ultimately, it's still your choice. Anybody that does this work that on some level takes away someone else's free will to choose or make a choice.
Yes, I see what you mean.
They don't belong.
Yeah.
They don't belong doing this work because it's not It's not. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, because you're telling somebody what they should be doing instead of letting people.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where I'll tell someone, like when they're in a very dysfunctional relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and there's clearly, obviously, something, physical or emotional going on.
Yeah, like they're getting beaten up.
Absolutely because of my experience, I will say to them, you need to get out,
Get that,
period.
yeah.
There's no question about it. I will tell them, get out of that relationship. But I love him or I love her. I don't care. I can love a rabbit. That doesn't mean I want to be in a relationship with it. So I'm adamant about that. I've been sexually abused and I've been raped when I was 15. So I believe that each one of those experiences, even the beatings from my dead ex-husband, and the emotional abuse and even the emotional abuse from my Jewish mother, besides guilt.
Well, on that high.
Because you take the greater part of that experience. We all go through these kinds of issues in our life, positive, negative, and then some. And so when you can appreciate every experience, good, bad, or indifferent, it helps to, number one, create really who you are.
Yep.
And number two, it also helps you that when someone else crosses your path and your lives seem very parallel, like, oh my God, I had that too. And I experienced that. There's a reason for that. I believe there's a reason for that, so that you can help that person get from point A to point B, whether it's just in friendship, in an acquaintance type of a relationship, on a business level. There's always a reason that we meet people, and there's always a reason that these kind of interactions take place. It's not just, oh my God, I can't believe I met you. What an accident. No, accidents, I don't believe in accidents. I believe in coincidence and happy accidents on that level. That's just what I think. Anyway, so looking at you, out of focus.
I'm getting
one.
Slightly out of focus. Sorry about that. My hand.
Wait, I'm getting one. That's so another show. Okay, really, dude.
Oh, it's another show. Oh my God.
Okay. Okay. So here's the thing for me, and this kind of jumps out at me when I look at your energy.
Yeah.
And only you can validate yes to no. But do you have issues in and around your stomach area?
Yeah, I did do. Yeah. Yep.
You would call it maybe even acid reflux, or I wouldn't say that you had an ulcer, but I do believe that there's issues. Certain types of food really just kind of set you off, really, but more so than than it used to. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So that's the medical intuitive part. So for me, when I see that would tell me, and I would tell you if you're my client, you should go to the doctor if you feel that it's really to that point, but you really want to start maybe eating more things and drinking more water and putting more things in your body that kind of raise your alkaline level a little bit higher, that energetically it's more acidic.
That's right.
And obviously your stomach's got some energy there that needs a little healing. You come across as a very happy, kind of go lucky guy, but energetically I really feel like and I have to say, probably in your late teens, early 20s, I feel like there was some big decisions for someone your age to have to make that you shouldn't have had to make. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's shocking, actually. That's a bit spooky.
So, and honestly, those decisions really sort of dictated the next 10 years of your life.
Correct.
And I kind of feel like you're not married, correct?
No, I'm not married.
So do you have a sometimes on and off relationship right now?
Yeah, well, I'm just out of a very, very long relationship, 17, 18 years.
Okay. And during that time, would you have said it was on and off?
Yeah, it was kind of on and off, yeah. It was a bit complicated, to say the least.
Yeah, well, okay. So my feeling is that she didn't necessarily belong to you, but belonged to someone else and then belonged to you?
Yeah, kind of. It's pretty
follow what I mean without really getting that personal on the air?
Yeah, that's the problem. I didn't realize you were going to be so in depth. I'm sweating here.
Answering you honest.
Mark is laughing at me because I'm sweating so much. Because That's right.
Okay, can I just ask when's your birthday?
Oh, it's what is it? The 24th of April. Do you want the year as well? 72.
Well, no. So you're a Taurus.
Yeah.
Which we love. We love thick-headed men. I'm an Aries. Love that. Hey, Mark. I heard that laugh, Mark. That's another show. Okay. So you're a Taurus in energy. That's okay. And 72. So how old are you?
40.
Okay, don't make me do the math. Okay. Yeah, you're 6 years younger than me.
Yeah, I'm 40 at the moment.
Okay. So to be quite honest, this is going to be a really interesting year. By the time this year ends, I kind of feel like you're going to have to make another life decision.
Oh, great.
And I really feel like it works around home and career.
Mm-hmm.
Just my 2 cents, but home and career. So I don't know technically what you do for a living, but I kind of feel like you're either going to expand on that or shift directions or shift careers, so that moving into next year, you're going to be in another type of a space. And also the money will be different. Like I feel like you'll be making a little bit more money, but I don't know if that's from a career shift or doing something where you're adding to a stream of income for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Also with a relationship, to be honest, the kind of relationship I feel like you really need for yourself, that's one that's about you and that's about an actual relationship and not a one-sided energy.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like you probably have a good solid year before you really step into something on that level. And let me just tell you this. You're not going to meet anybody going to the same places over and over again, which you do. You're a habitual person.
You don't need to be a psychic to say that.
Well, she doesn't know me. She knows she just said I'm habitual, and I'm really...
Autistic's the word we tend to use around here.
Habitual's not the word.
Yeah, you're just so into the routine of things.
Yeah.
That even to deviate off the routine kind of knocks you off your ass a little bit.
Completely. Yeah.
But by next year, you'll definitely deviate from the routine. There'll be an energy where, it's almost like your own awakening to things. It's not like you're not open-minded and you don't believe that other things exist, but for yourself, if I take you out of this space of this show and your relationships, you've gotten very meticulous about who you let into your life. You've gotten very particular about, for me, I kind of feel like there's been family and friends, and especially in the last 3 years, 36 months, that have kind of come and gone out of your life.
Yeah.
Because they were just at such a level of dysfunction that it would make anybody cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Wow. Yeah.
Very needy. Like you attract really needy, and not you, Mark. Don't take this the wrong way.
No,
but Basil, you attract very needy people to you, men and women.
Incredible. Yeah.
They always need.
She's just
seriously,
so spot on, Mark. It's just crazy. It's just mad.
More so than your average person. Like Mark attracts all kinds of people, but Mark's kind of funny because Mark will handle it in a way where he just blows them off as buggers, whatever. Like he doesn't really soak it in.
That's him.
You, on the other hand, you're more emotionally sensitive on that level. Not that Mark isn't. Mark's cute. But you, Basil, you tend to be more empathic in nature, so you really take on the energy of the people that are around you, and it really changes your dynamic of who you are. And
it changes me, so I have to get away.
And then you have to step out of that and look at it and go, okay, why am I, why do I feel this way? Why am I doing this? Why did I say that? And when you reanalyze all those things, because you live a lot more in your head, when you kind of do that and you step out of your head space and then you look at the bigger picture, you realize, oh, it's because of her, it's because of him, or it's because of that, Do you have 2 siblings connected to you as well?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got
Are you one of 3, or is there 3 more plus you?
There's 4 more plus me.
4 more plus you.
Yeah.
Okay. I keep wanting. Okay, so is it more boys than girls, meaning that you have more brothers and sisters?
Yeah, 4 brothers.
Okay. That's interesting for me. There's one sibling who I feel like you're very close to, almost like you're the father. But on on some level, though, I almost want to say I feel like it's a sibling that's just either a couple of years older or younger than you, not far in age.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the other one, and then maybe this is the oldest sibling because I don't feel like you're the oldest.
No, I'm not. No.
The oldest sibling is really very arrogant. Could I say that?
As long as he's not listening, yeah, that would be very, very correct.
Almost to the point of being snide.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You know, like and dismisses people.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. Okay, but.
I hope he's not listening.
No, and I'm going to be picking on.
Much bigger than you.
Sorry. I'm sorry, Basil's brother.
Wow.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, he's a bad person, but but it serves a greater purpose for him. There's a lot of lessons for him coming around the bend. You know, even in relationships, I kind of feel like there's issues, but you know, so yeah. Can I read off of pictures and people's energies and your voice? Yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Well,
and if I had to explain to you technically how I do it, I have no clue.
Well, that's good because I'm a bit complicated as well. Because
I know that. I mean, I could sit here and read you for an hour and be like Disneyland.
No, please don't, Allie. Don't read any more because I feel like I've just been exposed the entire.
You've been listening to the Basil's free psychic reading show.
I can't believe how that is so crazy. Actually, it's just mad. It's so accurate. It's unreal. It's just I can't get over it. Mark, you'll have to finish the show because I'm just sweating. I'm a bag of sweat here.
I did turn the heating up before we came on.
I had no idea. I mean, some of the things you've been saying there from a photograph are just unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I thank you, but I mean, for me, it's all about the energy. It's about the connection. It's about where you're at. But I will tell you this: next year will be a much better year for you.
Oh, thank God.
And yeah, but I will say that again by year's end, and you'll know and I'm sure you'll tell me on Facebook.
I will.
But you've got some changes coming October, November, December, which will take you into the beginning of next year almost in another space, even emotionally in another space. Like I really feel that right now you're emotionally connected to two relationships in particular that you're on the fence about, and I'm going to tell you that my feeling is you really have to trust your instinct and not your head.
Right. Okay.
Does it make sense?
It does. It does. On a very personal level, it does make a lot of sense.
He's got the sweats on.
Because your instinct will always be correct. Your head, like I said, sometimes you're way too much in your head, which is the reason I feel too that there are times you have trouble sleeping. But you need to step out of the headspace and you have to just trust that intuition, not even your heart, because your heart's a whole nother story. Your heart will tell you to do something completely different.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like, what do I do? And really no one can give you the answers, but you really know inside of yourself intuitively what you need to do. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do.
Okay.
And that's going to make the difference about how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, how other people start connecting themselves to you. You kind of block yourself. You put a wall up. So you don't want people to really get to know you, but you do. But then when you let them in, they
weird.
tend to not just weird, but they tend to hurt. They tend to hurt you in a way that you don't anticipate.
Exactly. Yeah. That's.
And then it's a difficulty in letting that relationship go. Because how do you do that and still keep a part of yourself that doesn't hurt somebody? Because I know energetically you don't like to hurt anybody's feelings, but sometimes you have to do that in order to let go.
My God.
So.
Well, I asked the question. I asked the question, Allie, and yeah, but
I bet you wish you hadn't bothered.
I wish I hadn't, because
I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
It's just got some explaining to do. That's all.
Probably to everybody, but it's incredible.
Yeah, but he loves you more.
Oh yeah, I can tell. He rubs me up underneath the table while we're talking.
Incredibly accurate, Allie. If other people here in Europe are listening and they'd like to get a read,
yes,
because I can absolutely endorse Allie because everything she's just said about me is completely true, embarrassingly so.
Mm-hmm.
How can people?
I love you.
I love you, Allie. How can people contact you then if they want to get a reading with you, because you're brilliant?
Yeah, give some details.
I mean, you've just done it live on it. Everything you said there is absolutely spot on.
and I appreciate that.
My
And
God.
God love you. You're so cute. And if I was single, I'd come over.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole nother show. That's the out there. They could come to. I have a website.
Yeah.
It's alliecheslick.com. It's ALLIECHESLICK.com. They could find me on Facebook.com/Allie Cheslick fans. I'm on Twitter.com/Allie Cheslick. I try to make it easy. I'm the easy girl. Come find me. And they can also call me in the USA. The number is 512-0820. And they can leave a message if they want to find out more. And all the information is on my website about, sessions and testimonials. And
So,
Do you do sessions like via telephone or Skype or something like that?
yeah, do it mostly through Skype because
okay.
in the United States, the telephones became so expensive and almost obsolete for landlines. And for me to have Skype, I'm just able to connect to everybody worldwide that way.
Yeah.
And so I pay for a Skype number. And then also I have my cell phone, but my cell phone I try to keep just like for really close friends and I used to have family. I got rid of them. So I only give my cell phone out when I really have to, but only because honestly, when people had my old phone number, my phone would ring all day and night. My husband finally said, "Is this what life's going to be like with you?" And I was like, And
he said, "No, it's not."
yeah, pretty much. He's like, "That's not working for me." Yeah, because I used to have people call me at like 3 or 4 in the morning. There was this one woman that called me. Her name was Kathy, and my husband answered the phone. And this was before we were married. I was sinning a little bit, and he was sleeping over one night. We had a sleepover party.
Nice.
And he answered my phone at like 4 in the morning, and he's like, "Hello," and she's like, "Can I talk to Allie?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, Allie's sleeping. It's 4 in the morning." And she's like, "Well, I just had a date with this guy, and I just got home, and I need to know if this guy is the one." and Wayne's on the phone like, "I got an idea. How about you call her back like during normal, business hours or times of the day?" He's like, I don't think she's going to be able to tell you that answer at 4 in the morning. And so she kind of like got insulted and stuff. And of course I spoke to her later in the day, but it's like people do that. And by the way, if you're somebody that just met a guy and or a girl or, or you're a guy that met a girl or another guy, the first night, the second night, the third week could be really wonderful. But you'll know intuitively on your own whether you're meant to be with someone or not, and not from a deluded perspective where you think, "Oh, this is my soulmate." Cut the crap with the whole soulmate thing. We're all soulmates.
Yeah.
We all believe that we created equal from one God, no matter what your religious denomination is. That means we're all soulmates. Now, if you're talking about someone you mean to spend the rest of your life with, or like a twin flame or soul, I guess that's another story. But I'm not digging all the terminology. From the spirit, "Oh, he's my soulmate." Really, he could be a prison inmate. I mean, really, what's the difference? So that's why I said I'm a little bit different than your average spiritual medium. I don't necessarily subscribe to all the terminology and all that stuff. It's like, look, let's get down to the realistic perspective of this work. This is it. That's the end of it. It's really that simple. It's not so airy-fairy like a lot of people want to make it.
Well, it's refreshing, and you might be down to earth, but you're damn accurate. That's what I can say about you. And
there's another testimonial for you.
I'm going to post it up. If it's of any use, you can have it.
That's his main chat-up line.
And I will put that on my website with your picture, and I mean, like, and again, it's just for people to understand that. Whether they believe or not, it's really of no consequence to me. But if I can get you to take that nugget of information and think about it, then I've done my job.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm not here to convert anyone. I'm not here to shove my beliefs down anyone's throat. Really, truly. I grew up with a Jewish mother. Hello. And my father was Arabic, American, but still he was Christian. So I really grew up somebody said this, asked me a question on another show, and I said, look, this is how it was in my house growing up. Friday night, Moses parted the Red Sea. On Saturday, the Easter Bunny came to town, and on Sunday, Jesus rose from the grave. Hello.
Well, that sounds like a great mix. Allie, I guess we better go. It's a shame I don't want to go, and hopefully maybe we can team up again at some time.
Yeah.
Is there anything going on with you in the future or at the moment? Are you promoting anything that you'd like to just let people know about?
I have so my radio show is Wings of Love Radio. It's on Monday nights,
Lovely.
6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, on achieveradio.com. And also I'm on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. And then on the website, I have various other shows I'm guesting on, such as yours. And then also if you live here in the States, on August 21st, I'm going to be actually stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to be doing a gallery with 2 other girls in New York, in the Hudson area in New York. And then November 16th through the 18th, again, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I haven't been out in the public like in years. I'll be doing another weekend, like a psychic. It's really a fair, but it's kind of sort of like a fair, and a gallery, and that's up in Utica, New York. And so, I do more radio than anything else, and now I'm just kind of stepping out into space a little bit, and I do, shows, and I appreciate that you guys found me. I don't know how you found me, but everything happens for a reason. I
was just drawn to you, Allie, and I think I know why now. I think this is terrific advice you've given me. You have a lovely picture.
And you know what's interesting is I've always had a very strong draw to Celtic energy. To, I believe that I've spent some time there in a past life. So, I mean, honestly, my name is Allison. My middle name is Beth, and my maiden name was Murray. You can't get any more Irish than that.
No, Murray is a very Irish name.
And I'm not even remotely Irish. Mom's a Jew and Italian. My father was Lebanese. Hello. So I always believe that there's something greater out there than we all really truly understand, even us.
I think we're all spirits coming back and forth and meeting up again, something like that. Yeah.
Kindred spirits, absolutely.
Kindred spirits. Well, Allie, thank you so much. You've been you've been so good to come on today. Thank you so much. I guess we better wrap it up.
We probably should.
Because we've gone over time.
But
it was well worth it.
Indeed.
And Allie, maybe we'll talk again sometime soon.
I hope so. Thank you. And Mark, you're so cute. Thank you.
Thanks, Allie.
Thanks ever so much, Allie.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
God bless you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
God bless you too. Bye, guys.
Blimey. That was
the end of the Out There, a little bit over the hour.
A little bit over the hour, yeah, a little bit.
Because I had to get some spiritual advice and mediumship advice, if that's okay with everybody.
Well, yeah, I suppose. It's got to be at this stage, isn't it? You've got much choice in it. You've gone careering off the end of the programme with your spiritual advice.
Just so people know, he's written here, he sent me over a note, in prison, he wrote.
Yeah.
When Ali said, my life
Ali was
change.
saying he was about to change and go to a new place. And I passed him a little note that said, in prison.
Well, say hello to us on Facebook.
Yes, do. Facebook, the group. If you go to alternativefutureradio.com, there's a link directly to the Facebook group, so you can find it easily.
You can go to the Out There Hour like page, and you can like us, and you can go to the Alternative Future Radio group, and you can talk to us there.
You can follow us on Twitter.
And you can also go and see our friend Allie Cheslick.
Yes, she's out and about and doing
on her Facebook page, and I shall add her to the group today when I go home.
Do it. Brilliant.
And you do it too.
All right. See you all later, everybody.
You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird. You're listening to Alternative Future Radio, home of the weird, resting place of the paranormal. Will take you to the furthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond. Strange phenomena, aliens, psychics, cryptozoology, conspiracy, holistic health, and UFOs. Alternative Future Radio, where spooky just got weird.
Is there anybody there? Just me. Hello, good morning. We've got a psychic on today. We're looking forward to it.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. www.alternativefutureradio.com.
Yay! Good grief. Did you like that, Basil?
I like that, and that's a special little yay for our friend on YouTube, and James Attack.
James Stasiak.
James Stasiak. We've seen you've been leaving us a little yay, so we just that yay is for you.
Yay!
Thanks, James
Stasiak.
And thanks for everybody who commented on the YouTube videos. And
you know what you don't get on bigger shows? You don't get individual shout-outs.
You don't get the personal...
You don't get that. Personal touch.
Personal touch like we do. Thank you for liking the Out There Hour Facebook page.
If you give us 20 quid, we'll come to your house and make tea.
20 quid will do anything.
Yeah.
We haven't got 20 quid between us today, have we?
Two halfpennies to rub together.
Not two halfpennies to rub together.
Well, now, today...
Somebody who has got two halfpennies to rub together, because she's a damn fine medium,
yes,
is our guest today, Allie
Cheslick.
Cheslick.
Are you struggling with the name?
I am, yes.
I keep thinking it's Chiswick. Every time I see that, I read Chiswick.
Cheslick, the beautiful and talented and lovely Allie.
AllieCheslick.com, which is AllieCheslick. Cheslick.com. You can find a link to her on AlternativeFutureRadio.com on this interview page. She has a little page there with her bio on and such like.
She's a professional spiritual medium, a healer, an intuitive, and a radio host herself.
She does host a show, yeah.
She's been a consultant to a national and international clientele and a sought-after guest on many radio programs.
Well, us, for one.
Including us. She's also known as a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Has been privileged to work with various families, aiding and contacting to help with cold case and current murder cases.
Yeah, she's also...
A comedian said something, and it was really true, but... You know, here in the States, when you drive up to the ATM machines at the bank to take your money out, why are the ATM numbers, the buttons in Braille?
Because they can't see the screen.
Do you know drive and hit the ATM machine?
Yeah.
How many blind drivers?
Yeah, but they also can't see what's on the screen anyway.
Exactly. And so I could see it on the inside ATM machine inside of a bank, but on the drive-through?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, somebody was sniffing glue when they did that. So how are you guys this afternoon over there?
We're a bit tired. We've had a busy day today.
We've been busy little boys.
We've been working hard.
Early start.
I've been up since 6.
Oh.
I had to drive to the studio. I had to do a couple of interviews today.
We're working hard today.
Yeah, we're hard at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do podcasts, but how many days a week?
Oh, well, we're currently recording twice a week, but we're recording sometimes 3 a day.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're turning out 3 hours content in one day. It's not too bad.
Probably not as much as you, Ali. How many shows are you doing a week now?
No, I do 2 shows a week. I'm on Monday nights here in the States and Wednesday nights, and then I do various guest spots like your show, which I appreciate the invite, and there's a bunch of other shows that I'm going to be doing June, July, August. So, between the radio and clients and family and, just my goof off time, there's never enough time in the day. Sometimes it just, you turn around and you're like, wow, it's 3 p.m. Where'd the whole day go?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
There's not enough goof off time. That's what I find. There seems to be.
No, there's not. Yeah. No, there's not. But when there is goof off time, Allie is playing either like Words with Friends, bingo, or slot machines because I like gambling.
Whoa.
You heard it here first.
So I play on Facebook a lot, and I like playing Words with Friends because it challenges people to actually come up with words that are longer than 2 letters, which some people's vocabulary doesn't go past
Yeah, we've got a few of those.
So when you're speaking about your clients, you're speaking about the other side of Allie, the medium. But I'm just wondering, when did this ability first manifest itself? Was it when you were a child, or when did you first discover you had this ability?
Well, kind of growing up, we all, male and female alike, we all kind of experience what our parents, anybody, because that's not my thing. But more the funnier energy that I guess I would pull out. Because I had a sense of humor. I mean, I was 5'9". I was a big chick, big boned, and I had to have a personality. And I played sports, and I was smart, and I was always a year ahead in high school. So I never really quite fit in anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just part of, I thought, my personality, who I was. And then, when I fast forwarded to I was 20 and I met the psychic from Canada, she had said, "Oh, can I come over and have coffee with you or something the next day?" And I said, "Sure. I mean, come on. The breakfast of champions, coffee and a pack of cigarettes." So she came over the next day and she started talking to me, and a lot of the stuff she started talking to me about kind of sort of made sense, but it still freaked me out. Here I am, 20 years old. I just gave birth to my son. He's a week to 10 days old. And then she started telling me about what auras meant and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I really didn't get the whole aura energy until a couple of years after, when I realized that that's what I've seen around people my whole life. It's sort of this self-realization that occurs when someone brings your awareness or your attention specifically to a particular thing. It's just like if you've had a birthmark on your body that you kind of never really paid attention. It's there. You don't really, oh my God, look at your birthmark. It's kind of big. You really should have the doctor look at it. And then it brings your awareness, your attention to that birthmark. And you're like, wait a minute, maybe there is something wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was it was in that space. And so she did a little mini reading on my son, which was interesting because a lot of what she said for my son's come true, and he's going to be 26 this August. And I remembered it because I have a very, very close relationship with my son. And for me, she said, well, in 20 years from now, you're going to be doing this work that I'm doing, and you're going to be doing it even better, and you're going to change people's lives by doing it and just being yourself. And I looked at her and I thought, well, thank you. And then I really thought in my head that she was just a nutbag. And here I am 20-something years later doing exactly what she said I was going to do.
But
I mean, I was a bookkeeper and a waitress. Who knew?
That means you're either both psychics or both nutbags.
I don't know.
And I think the jury's still out on that. And what's kind of interesting, and I guess it's on some level validating for me, is my sister is a psychiatric nurse over 30 years.
Uh-huh.
And so my sister is kind of open-minded, but a little bit more the science nerd. And of course, she married my brother-in-law, who's
been a psychic to a number of stars from various TV series and things along those lines.
And I think I can vouch for this. She has been touted as one of the most genuine, sincere, and hauntingly accurate spiritual mediums of our time. And I think that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I must ask somebody one day, if she's a medium, is there a small and a large?
Oh, God. I didn't even get the joke earlier on. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Seriously? I don't know why I bother. I'm wasted on you, Basil.
It's a good one. It was funny. In its day.
Back in the day.
It was a good one back in the day.
Yeah, you know what's coming?
Why don't we have an advert?
You should probably help support this station by buying the new Alternative Future Radio Android application. You can download all the latest programs or the archived shows, and it's just $1.99. PayPal will bill you in your usual currency if you don't use dollars. Find out more at alternativefutureradio.com.
Okay, so hopefully now we are joined on the line from up New York State somewhere, Allie Cheslick, psychic outlaw extraordinaire. I added the extraordinaire part myself. Are you there, Allie?
Hi, boys. How are you? Yes, I'm here.
Not too bad, not too bad. And we've got Basil here as well. Say hello, Basil.
Good morning, Allie. It's so lovely to speak to you.
It's that voice, Basil. I've been waiting to talk to you for a month. Good morning.
I like your voice as well.
I'm going to turn the bass down on your mic.
No, turn it down a bit like she likes it. Turn it down.
Yeah, that's what this is what I should sound like. Come on, Basil.
Make me sound like Mickey Mouse.
That's okay. I've got this post-nasal drip thing going, so my voice is kind of sketchy.
we appreciate you coming on because we know you have a touch of laryngitis today, sore throat.
Yeah, but I couldn't pass up two guys from Ireland and the UK with those accents. It's like, oh, come on, it's every American woman's dream
Nice.
to be interviewed.
Nice.
I'm telling you.
I like it.
Go
I
on.
must remember that. Are there any
Are
nice?
you going to use that as a line? Is that what you're getting
Are
at?
there any nice American dating sites I could go on?
Nice, maybe. I don't know.
I might get some actual
Listen,
results.
Use your
I don't
voice
think
rather than a
there's
picture.
I don't think there's any nice dating sites, period, anywhere in the world.
Maybe there's one where you can use a voice rather than a picture, maybe for blind people or something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, blind dating, completely blind.
Blind dating.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to make $1 million with that idea.
Well, you know, it's funny because there's this thing some would like to refer to as our imaginary friends.
Yeah.
You know, most of us, our imaginary friends, okay, well, we believed our parents that they were imaginary, except when they really start talking back to you, and then they stick around for like your entire life. They're a little more than just imaginary, or you're really, you know, psychotic and you need therapy, a Thorazine drip in a pink pretty room. So for me, you know, it was kind of, you know, my first experience was with a Native American woman who kind of showed up, and I just loved, you know, the energy that, you know, I was getting from her. And I was probably about 5 or 6 years old, 5 years old. And, you know, I believed my mother that she wasn't real. So, you know, but I played with her and did my things with her. And then, you know, after a while, I started to notice that I could see her, and I was getting much older. And so I didn't quite understand, you know, what that was about. And then I could see spirits from a very young age. And again, not really sure what I was seeing, but then realizing, you know, that they had this transparency that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I tended to not really pay attention, because it's when you really pay attention that you do notice things. You know, people sort of live with proverbial blinders on like horses. You know, you take the blinders off and you look around, really look. You see more than what meets the eye, and there's the difference. That's the key, is believing that there is more. And so I was, excuse me, I turned 20 years old, and I was about to give birth to my son. And I met a psychic medium from Canada, and I was living in Pennsylvania at the time because my dead ex-husband was working there. So, and she... you know, I didn't even know what a psychic or a medium was. I mean, you know, I saw Dionne Warwick and all those TV shows, and you know, and all the older psychics that were on TV with the 900 numbers, call up and get your daily horoscope, you know. And I was fascinated by it. I didn't even know I could do that. So I just knew a lot of stuff. I knew things about people.
That you shouldn't know.
And I would open my mouth and I'd blurt stuff out, especially like during high school. Oh my God. So people thought I was a class clown, you know, and I used to get in trouble a lot. But the truth of it is what I would blurb out was probably the truth of what I blurbed out. And so I really pissed off a lot of teachers.
It's something that everybody else didn't know about the person, perhaps, you know, a secret.
Yeah. And it wasn't intentional, like to hurt